a happy coincidence, and it's awesome. We're going to lean into it. Shout out to Aligning, who's doing all of our media stuff so that it becomes it's out there in your hands, not on Zoom.
Yeah, and I think it'll be fun. I think people will appreciate it. I mean, 40 years is a significant number, and it has to be celebrated. And New Haven has evolved and has grown into its arts root.
Right? Like if it used to feel like you had to heaven forbid drive 20 minutes to get to Bridgeport, now you can just like tune into artists in Bridgeport and New Haven and Hartford, and you're just like you're a video away from each other. It has created, I think, some closeness in those networks across the state, which is awesome. And it's just put New Haven, I think, in better light, right? Because everybody's been able to see what we've all been enjoying for years. But doing it in this virtual way. If anybody saw the thing over the weekend, the Connecticut Public TV segment that had, Bradley Street Bike Co-op and Salwa, and like it was just like all New Haven just bleeding through that segment. And that's the moment we're in right now.
I think so. And it's so necessary and so needed. And it's not lost on me how important the arts are to people, whether you're a little one or a senior citizen, that people are finding a great deal of solace in the arts community right now. I think that's a wonderful thing. So Shonda, talk a little bit about your artist life. And then Ife, I want you to talk a little bit about your artist life. But Shonda, talk about your artist life and where you've grown and where you see yourself going.
That's a big question. Well, I would say that my artist life began in many ways because I work in different genres. I would definitely say part of it started in my grandmother's bathroom. She would have Jet magazine on a little stand or something like that, or either on the top of toilet seat in the bathroom. And, every visit over there, the greatest thing I could ask for was, I would say, Graham, can I have one of your Jet magazines? And, when she said yes, I would be so excited, and I would take it home, and it would just be like, $1 million item. And when I went to college, I was majored in journalism. And so it was like important to continue that recording of life in general with Black life. And, I didn't realize just how deeply that was embedded in my subconscious. And I definitely see it manifesting in the work that I do in terms of both visual and literary. Where I see it going in the future is just continuing that and just pushing it as far as I could take it. And I hope that what I produce gives me, other people, as much joy as I felt from looking at the Jet magazines. So.
I like that. Yes, I think you're very talented. So Ife is a very talented playwright. And I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of Cherise Selim's the quarantine plays that she did, right? And she had, she gathered these playwrights and they wrote these monologues during, I guess, at the very, somewhere in the middle of this quarantine pandemic. And Ife had about 10, 12 pieces featured. And they were so well done and so engaging. So talk a little bit about some of that artistry for yourself, Ife, and the Elm City Lit Fest, and how they both sort of give you your artist sensibilities.
So for many years, forever, and I'm wearing one of my inspirations now, Lorraine Hansberry.
I love them.
I've been writing, and I have so much work that I haven't put out there, and so much more to create. So I'm always thinking, and my journey started like years ago, just like frustrated about, hey Mabel, just frustrated about not having anywhere to put it out, especially in New Haven. And hence me leaving and coming and going all the time. So I'm always in writing workshops and doing things. And so in this episode of coming back to New Haven once again, and approaching my 60th birthday, I'm living out Ife. I'm living out the creativity of it all. So from Lorraine Hansberry and the Renaissance writers Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes and the classic Everybody Black in Me, I was like, we gotta have a lit fest. And when we were, I was talking about it, I was like, and it has to be like, because New Haven has so many celebrations. We already got Arts and Ideas, and we got a bunch of theater companies, and everything else is celebrated. Visual arts, Open Studios is this month. And so I was like, you know what? We don't have a lit fest, and we don't have a Black lit fest. Because Black literature needs to be at the forefront. And in just planning this, I've been finding out from New Haven throughout the whole state, there's so many talented Black writers. Even Shonda, on top of her everything she does in arts, she's a poet. Like, it's phenomenal just to the momentum and the encouragement that you get from people. And over COVID, because there was time and I was doing more workshops, my energy started getting worked up. And I was like, you know what? This gotta build up. And then we had to pivot. As my co-coordinator Shav said, we couldn't panic. We had to pivot because we were going to do it in April at Concat. And then we started the podcast, and that started building momentum. And then the virtual Lit Fest, which I'm still so full.
It was a wonderful experience. I mean, it really gave New Haven another destination point, right? Just gave New Haven another destination point that people really looked forward to. I enjoyed just about everything. I enjoyed everything that I caught. And I love that I could jump in and out at my will. I could catch things as I.
And my intention in planning the Lit Fest was to plan another destination event for New Haven to bring people here. And also when Black people come to Yale, to let them know that there's a community here that is thriving and creative and has a lot to offer. Because a lot of times we get a lot of Black artists, writers and visual artists and creative people that come into Yale for a project or a period of time to teach or whatever, and they never know.
Yeah,
there's stuff right in our backyard. Like, you could talk about, you could collaborate more, but they're kept within the bubble. But that's a whole nother conversation. You all know
I get a whole segment on that. No, but one thing that was really awesome, I thought about the theme. So the Arts Council team definitely thought about resiliency from like both perspectives, right? Like, there's this immediate resiliency that some people are pivoting, right? This like pivoting and the ability to just be nimble and move and not give up. And then there's also that resiliency of like every artist is resilient. Like, being an artist is to be resilient. Family or life struggles or what have you, and all the awardees fit that in both elements in a very interesting way. Like, it's not so like it was cool to talk about Lit Fest and also everything you've done, Ife. It was cool to mention to folks, Sean, that you have a show coming up in November, and also like you have a lifetime to bring to this. So it's like, it's really cool when we can celebrate, I feel like, artists who are really like active and vibrant and like doing it right now, right? This is not an award that you put on your shelf and it gathers dust while you're in the home. It's like really like a part of your like evolution, a part of your growth, I hope.
And Shonda is curating right now. She curated a show at the Whitney Center. The Quilt, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's called a pattern language, and it features a bunch of different artists. Some people make quilts through actual paper, actual fiber. It's basically about patterns. So there's painters in them in it as well. I co-curated it with Debbie Hess, and I just wanted to say, speaking of which, I would say in 2016 or 2017, Debbie gave me the opportunity to curate an exhibition at the Arts Council. It was called Jazz, And
I remember
from
that.
there,
from
there, that was my first time curating. And I just wanted to say, so many different things have happened. I've had many opportunities since then, but thanks to the Artists Council, it really spawned something that I'm really passionate about doing. And, being given that opportunity, I just feel like I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off, and I'm really grateful for Debbie for having that foresight to see that I was capable of doing such,
I love it.
One last thing, I'm just very grateful for the consistency that the Arts Council has brought to artists in New Haven. And, I thank you, and I hope you continue to do that. It's really, really been a springboard for artists and an anchor at the same time. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I really appreciate it.
So
And
Dan,
also want to create
when you hear
It's the
that,
truth.
what do you think? Because you are new to the arts. I mean, you're the new leadership. Because there was previous leaders who are iconic in their in the way they are revered in this town, and here you come taking over this organization with new eyes, a new breath of fresh air. And so when you hear this from an artist, what do you think? How does that make you feel? And does it make the work moving forward more challenging or more or easier?
How about on you? Oh no, I mean, Shonda, like I know you're from CAW, so you could make me cry talking about stuff like that. So you can't do that. I think I think it's why I wanted to. It's why I applied for this job in the first place. I mean, I think I've said this on record. Like I applied to complain about the Arts Council and to tell the board what. Oh, maybe I didn't tell Ife that. Tell because I really needed the Arts Council. Like for me as an artist and me as an arts professional, and as luck would have it, they were thinking the same thing, and so it was a match, right? And that's what and as much as anything else, it was a match between what the community needed and what I wanted to do and what the team wanted to do, right? So I don't feel very like impresario about it. To actually be even more decrease that impresario-ness even more. On Friday, I was digging in our archives, which is not something I do very much, but I had to find some paperwork, and I found this this brochure.
Oh yeah, you posted it. I saw that.
Yeah, I found this brochure from it was early on. It was before Bitsy. The Arts Council existed before Bitsy, and and it was this line in this brochure that was basically like the Arts Council is going to exist to build engagement in the arts, right? To make the arts not something of the elite, but something of the people, not something that you needed wealth for, but something that everybody is supposed to be engaged in. And so somehow I always feel like we're coming back to that time in the 60s when the Arts Council was formed, and that's a pretty good sign. And honestly, I think that's what a lot of our arts organizations are honestly doing, is kind of reckoning with the good and the bad of their founding story and their origins. Shout out to Indigenous Peoples Day. That's what our country is doing in so many ways as well, kind of reckoning with the good and the bad of our past so we can move forward. So yeah, I love finding little things like that in our files because it gives me motivation. That's why I text them and send them to y'all, because I'm like, look, we're on the right track, right? We're paving a new, and I love what you said, Shonda, a springboard, but it's anchor. There was an anchor there. It was set for us. As long as we connect with it, we'll be on the right track.
So we're celebrating 40 years. The event is December 2nd from 6:30 to 8:30. 6:30 to
6:30 till the party stops. So we're saying.
Right. Well, 6:30 till it ends. I don't care where you go, but you got the.
At 8:30, you can go do your dishes. We kind of buried a lead though too, Babz, and it's not intentional. I just want people to be totally aware, totally transparent, right? It's totally free, right? We're not charging you to register. We're going to put it up on all the platforms, so you don't even need to, you don't have to register your watch party. It's going to be there. Your register watch party will remind you to, dress up, get your house ready, maybe invite your neighbor over, make it a night. But it is a benefit for the Creative Sector Relief Fund. And so we're going to relaunch the Relief Fund in 2021 because we're not done with this pandemic. And also, to be clear, we're not done with economic or racial justice that we believe this fund should be doing in 2021. So we're organizing around that right now. So it'll definitely continue to have an economic justice lens, which it has now, but we're also building a racial justice pathway for the fund as well. Because these are the things that we're working on to make sure this this movement is not a moment, right? So that we can continue to invest in those who need the resources during this pandemic, right? I mean, I hasten to imagine what the world will feel like a year from today. I don't even know what tomorrow is really going to look like, but I feel like our fight for economic and racial justice will still be with us. And I hope this fund in 2021 will build that into our conversations and then build that into the work, right? Build that into what we can invest in and what artists and projects that we can make, we can really light up with some cash. Yes. But it does hinge on, to some extent, folks being willing to, that we were talking the other day, Babz, about all the things we're going to be on Venmo, Cash App, we'll just be on all the platforms. So whatever you can send us during that night on December 2nd, we're going to put back into the community, which is a really big, exciting shift, right? The Arts Tours has always been a fundraiser, but I couldn't, it's always supported the Arts Council, which is awesome, right? But our sponsors have really jumped up this year and allowed us to make the event free and then give all the proceeds to everything we raise that night will go back into the community.
Yes, I love that. And so there are no barriers. Have your watch parties. Join us on that night. Celebrate, dress up, have good food and drink, and party with us. It's going to be a real ride. We will be live downtown in the Sandbox in our newly renovated space. So I will be there, Dan will be there, and a couple other surprises.
And a couple other people. That's all we got. That's our watch party,
Yeah, that'll be our watch party. That'll be the hub. We'll be there. And we hope that other people will join us in their watch parties and link to ours. And it'll be a good evening. So if I talk a little bit about, before we go, how does the arts community look like in New Haven? Are you feeling very hopeful about it? I mean, because, you spend a lot of time in New York City, which for a lot of people, New York City is the artist hub of the world. Here you are back in New Haven. I'm sure it does not compare, but do you think we're on the right track with where we're going?
Yes, I actually, again, leaving New Haven a lot because of lack of cultural diversity in the arts, and being frustrated after working for several arts organizations, including the Arts Council over the years, of being the crayon that colored the page. But moving back here in 2018 and finding out that there's like a vibrance. It's a new generation of these young artists that are doing their own thing, like Paul Hudson Bryant and Amira and several others. And it's like, wow, and Tabisa, and like all this energy and synergy. So it's like, let me create that where I am. Since I got to be here, let me create that where I am instead of leaving all the time and coming back to it. So I really feel rejuvenated and so happy. And of course, in planning the Lit Fest, and just every day, once people found out about it, it was like, I don't know, a domino effect. It blew up so much. There's so much talent again in artists, literary artists and visual artists, and everyone, like theater artists, coming out saying, we want to be a part of it. We want to get lit. and also connecting with other organizations out throughout the state, like Cultured AF in New London and Hartford's Lit in Hartford, among other things. It's like I felt very inspired and rejuvenated, and coming back going, okay, because now that I'm 61, I can't leave no more. Like until the big move happens. But long as I'm here, we gotta be lit, and we're gonna keep it going. And I want to connect as many artists as possible. I mean, initially, and I still do want to do a directory, create a directory and network of artists of the African diaspora, so that everyone can know each other. Because a lot of times artists are working and are doing their thing, and they're so much doing their thing that they really don't think they have support, or they're supported, or they haven't created community. And a lot of art forms are solo like that. Mm-hmm. So I really want to build that directory network up to bring everyone together across the state.
Okay.
And we got Dan, some good things to come.
We do. So Dan, I'm ready to go. We got to go. But last words, Dan, on this upcoming Celebration 40. Anything you want to say about this as we move our way off this show?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I'm excited for people to, and also just yeah, let's go. Also, I mean, if I had to say, the only thing I didn't say, right? Shout out to also Adrian Jefferson. I mean, the other, our sort of other thing we realized, right, is like this has been a year, like 2020. 2020 has been a year. So December 2nd will be, you know, at the end of 2020. We'll be looking forward to 2021. We'll have been past the election. We'll be at a different place. Everything will be different, right? So we invited Adrian in to give us that like fireside chat. Like, here we go, folks, because I think what y'all already pointed out, like we don't need perfection in 2021. We need art, and we need artists, and we need projects, and we need things to move, especially with justice at the core. And so I hope that the Arts Awards kicks us into that mindset, and then we can have our new year and wake up in 2021. But yeah, go to newhavenarts.org/arts awards, and you can learn about all the awardees. You can get all the details, and there are more details that'll be coming out. So just stay tuned, and we'll bring them to you as well, Babz.
Shout out to Lotta Studio. Those pictures of the artists are just phenomenal. I mean, they really, really are phenomenal. And so go to the website, check it out, find them on Facebook, and you know, comment and say hi and whatever. And you know, be prepared to come and jam with us December 2nd. It'll be a good damn time. So
Agreed.
All right, Harry, we're on our way out. Thank you all for joining me this morning.
No, thank you, Babz.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good Monday.
Happy Monday.
Good Monday. Nothing else.
Have a good day.